to ask me about him?
What type of girl do you think would be good for Demetrius?
Someone that's willing to be submissive.
Hold on. Hard stop. What are you talking about right now? Like, what are you talking about?
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Sammy Sam P. Today we're going to review Ready to Love episode 8. Starts with the gentlemen. We see all of them coming to the gentleman's lounge talking to Tommy. And Tommy is announcing them that this episode they're going to have to introduce the ladies of their choice to their best friends. Paul and his friend Chill Bill. And I'm like, whose grown man age 50 years old name is Chill Bill? Like, why don't you use your government name? And Pio is talking about Chill Bill is going to get to meet Carmen and Dakia. And I'm like, when did Dakia come into action? I thought you had an interest for Tina. Oh, maybe Tina's ex eliminated her out the process. Pio was like, he's not trying to deal with her now. We see Dakia coming in, being a cute self, talking to both guys and telling Chill Bills what she likes so much about Pio, and she's giving all those compliments. And I'm like, when did that happen? Like, when? We have Carmen coming in. Carmen is looking cute as usual, but then when she sees Dakia, her face is changing and she says hi to everybody. And Dakia is like,
didn't Clifton told her not to wear those blue contacts?
and yeah, so Chill Bills is impressed with Carmen and she's talking to them and everything. And you know, her competitive self is coming out. And Dakia at some point decides to leave. And then Carmen is like, yeah, it's good to leave the zeros and stays with the hero. And I'm like, Carmen, I know you're competitive, but that shit looks so bad. So she talks with the gentleman a little bit more and then she leaves. And then Chill Bill is telling Pio that if Pio wants to remain Pio, Carmen is the one to go with. But if Pio is now Paul, Dakia is the one to go. Seeing we have Tory and his friend Ash. He's telling Ash that he's interested in two ladies. One is Ace and one is Sabrina. So we see Sabrina coming in and she has a little gift for Tory. So Tory is taken aback by it, but he takes the gift and it's a candle and it smells good. And then they're having a good discussion. And then Ash is asking about the second date. And Sabrina is like, oh, a second date? And it's like, yeah, Ace is supposed to come. And then he just picks up his phone and calls Ace right in front of Sabrina. And Sabrina is like, oh okay. And now, Tory, you could have at least go aside and call Ace. You didn't have to like put her like on speakerphone in front of everybody. You don't know what she was gonna tell you. Nothing that looked good on you, Tory. So Tory is calling and the phone is ringing, but Ace is not picking up. So Tory concludes that Ace stood him up. So he's not really happy about it. And he's already like, well, if she's going to stand me up, I'm not going to give her a chance and everything. And I'm like, yeah, it's that easy for you, Tory, right? Now that you decided to take her on a date because she's not coming, you're making decision right away. I feel like this is already showing your character and the way you're approaching this show. Ask Sabrina where does she see herself with Tory, and she says, she wants to take it slow. She's not ready to go serious and she wants to take her time. I thought that was fair. On the last episode, Tory said he wasn't ready to go with Sabrina whenever he was talking to her ex. So I'm like, she is basically talking the same talk Tory was talking and nothing wrong with that. It ends with Ash saying that he really liked Sabrina's personality and she was really nice. Then we have Demetrius and Ken. Ken is Demetrius' friend. And Demetrius only chose Sabrina. Demetrius removed Tina too. Man, Tina alienated herself with that ex of hers. He really messed up her chances, man. Man, I feel so bad for her, but it is what it is, right? So we see Sabrina coming in. She's giving a big hug to Demetrius and she introduced herself and they get to talk. And Sabrina is letting it known that Demetrius has been her first choice. He's the one she wants. He's been at the top for her. So the friend is very happy to hear that. And he asks her a bunch of questions and so far she's answering well. But then came what type of woman does Demetrius want? And his friend is talking about he wants a girl to be submissive. And right away, Sabrina is like, I'm not the submissive type. And she's explaining to why. She's explaining that she's always been very independent and she's not a submissive woman. And Demetrius take it with a stride, but a part of me is like, when men says they want a submissive woman, what do they mean by that? Because my problem with the term submissive is that people are not using it the right way or in the right context. Because in a biblical sense, the woman is supposed to submit to her husband, who is in his turn submitting to God, right? So it's not just a woman has to submit to a man. She has to submit to a God-fearing man. Most men out there are not God-fearing men, are not men that are living their best biblical life. And I'm not going to be an hypocrite and say that I'm perfect or I'm living a biblical life for everything. But what I'm trying to say is that a lot of men, they like to use the submissive term in the biblical sense when they're not really living a holy life. You know what I mean? And a part of me is like, at the end of the day, yes, the male is the dominant sex. The woman was made as part of the man. But if you're not behaving like a man that you're supposed to be, you shouldn't have expectation out of a woman. And I do feel that us women, we know if we need to submit or not. So if there's a man out there and the woman does not have that need or that feeling that she needs to submit, I think that means there's probably something wrong going on with the man. There's something he's not doing. That's just my opinion. Y'all please leave me comment on this. I think that's a very good topic that we can discuss in detail. Next scene, we have Donovan and he has his friend that's there. I think his name is Kenny. And Donovan both Dakia and Joy. So Joy is there, you know, they're vibing, they're having a good time. Then she sees Dakia's coming. She's a little bit surprised, but she's also curious to see how they're going to communicate with Clifton. She's excited to see how it's going to be, right? So everything is going well. Clifton and Dakia still do their usual flirt. And Joy is kind of like at ease a little bit, but you know, she's still being fair play. She's not being like Carmen, that it's been, you know, in Dagra, Dakia being competitive. I think that Joy is definitely more fair play than Carmen is. And then Joy leaves and both ladies leaves, and Ken is basically telling him that based on what he knows out of Clifton, he believes that Joy would make a better choice. Scene, we have Donovan and Phil. So Phil is the guy from the previous Ready to Love that actually ended up living with someone. Donovan is saying that they've been very good friends. And at the time of the taping, Phil was still with old girl, but I heard on the grapevine that they're not together anymore. Actually, I heard that none of those couple are together anymore. But that's another story. Donovan chose Sabrina and Tina, and I'm like, Donovan, you're a real one. Donovan did not let the opinion of another guy that was brought up just to talk to new guys on how bad the girl was when he still kept good relationship with the girl. Donovan is a grown-ass man and he still want to give a chance to Tina, and I thought that was nice. Tina is there and Sabrina is there. Sabrina is surprised that Tina is there, but yeah, Sabrina, you've been talking to Guy. Donovan been talking to Guy. What you thought? And yeah, everything is doing good. Sabrina is being her usual jolly self, and Tina is a little bit more calm. And then at some point, Donovan asking her, "You're not eating something?" And she's like, "Nah, I'm not really hungry." I'm like, "Girl, everybody eating. Eat something, get an appetizer, something." That's like, you know, part of like knowing how to behave. That's how I feel. Like, you're gonna go somewhere, you're sitting at the restaurant, you knew the date was coming, get something to drink, get you an appetizer. If you're not really hungry, get a salad, get a to-go box. So they're talking and everything is going well. They're both saying what they really like about Donovan. And talks about, he's not sure about with Sabrina, is Sabrina may want to have kids, but he already has two. And Tina has one kid, but she's 2 years old, so he doesn't really know where he stands. And I'm like, Donovan, you need to make a decision now. Like, what you want? Donovan asked Phil who he prefers, and Phil is like, I'm not going to say nothing, but my guess is that Phil prefers Sabrina. See, we have Pio and Dakia going on a date. I'm like, yeah, because you've never really been on a date before, and I don't know where that connection Pio invented came from. So they go on a date and they realize that they have more in common than they thought. They're both pescatarian And they exchange, and we learn that Pio is aware that he is corny, and he makes a corny jokes that makes Dakia laugh. He's also letting her know that he is a painter in his lost times, and they vibe on that. I mean, I feel like they could work, but at this point, it feels like people are just forcing to make connection for the show. It just seems a little forced to me. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. On the next scene, we have Mr. Tory and Ace. We finally get to see beautiful Ace. Tory is telling us that he took some time to go on a date with Ace because he was trying to understand what happened when she stood him up on the previous date. And I'm like, Tory is going to it thinking he's gonna like tell her something or something, and Ace is already checked out. First of all, Ace apologized, and she's letting him know that the reason why she didn't make it to the date was because she sees the way Tory looks at Sabrina. That's just not the way he looks at her. She had a connection with Laverne, and Laverne not being there, she does not want to be part of the show anymore. Tory is understanding. He knows, because that's the truth. Tory wanted Sabrina. He didn't start looking at Ace until Sabrina starting two stepping, and a part of me feels like he was even probably going to use Ace in front of Sabrina, which would not have been good for Ace. So Ace saw into his. Hi everyone, sorry the camera cut, but what I wanted to finish and say was that Ace saw through Tory's game and she decided not to play into it. On the last scene, Tommy is talking to the guys. They're in the gentleman's lounge and they're all letting him know how their date went. Tory is announcing to him that Ace is not going to be part of the show anymore, and Tommy is shocked and is letting him know that they need to let him know when people remove themselves out of the show. And I'm like, Tommy, why don't you have them sign some contracts saying that they should not leave the show unless they're told to? The guys are letting Tommy knows who is at their bottom and who is at their top, and Tommy is so overwhelmed, is letting them know that nobody's going to get eliminated today. And I'm like, yeah, because Ace already eliminated herself. So Tommy is saying that since nobody is going to be eliminated today, on the weekend, they're all going to go on a weekend getaway so that we can see whose connection are the strongest and strengthen relationship. So that's it for today, guys. That was sweet and quick. I am so sorry for posting this a little bit late. I have been sick all weekend. If you that are new here, welcome, and I invite you to, below. And for those of you that have been here supporting me, thank you all so much for your support, and I will see you all next week. Bye.